Hello everyone, happy Monday. Thanks for starting your week off with us here at Good Morning ArkLaMiss. I'm Taylor Yakowenko.
And I'm Tyler Smith. Taylor, how are you doing this morning?
Good, it's good to have you back.
It's good to be back. You know, it's crazy. Whenever you get back from vacation, you almost need a vacation from your vacation, right?
But we're glad you decided not to take that double vacation there.
Yeah, it's good to be back. We had a wet end to the day yesterday. Let's send things over to Nick Slaughter to see. We're going to have some sunshine today. Good morning, Nick.
Morning to you, Tyler, and it's great to have you back. Well, things are looking pretty nice to start the morning. Might see a little fog on the roads, actually, but rain-wise, you're going to have a great start to the day. But let's take a look at your weather headlines to get you through the day. Once again, a little bit of fog to start the day, a few degrees below average for our high temperature, and then we're going to see temperatures start to rise this week as well. We're going to have your full forecast in just about 5 minutes.
Nick, thank you. Happening in Monroe, Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards is scheduled to talk later today, hosting a roundtable to talk about the upcoming pay raises and hear their concerns and input on public education in Louisiana. This legislative session, lawmakers approved a $1,000 pay raise for teachers statewide for the first time in a decade. After that, he'll head to West Monroe to Two Warriors Metairie to talk about the Veterans First Business Initiative.
Meanwhile, a 67-year-old Washita Parish man is accused of raping a child in the parish. Larry Wilson Boatner is accused of raping a young relative. The victim initially reported the rape to her teachers back in April of this year. After investigation and medical testing, a warrant was issued for Boatner's arrest. He's charged with first-degree rape, and his bond is listed at $250,000.
Moving over to Union Parish this morning, the 3-year-old boy mauled by dogs is now in stable condition. The boy was airlifted to the hospital on Friday and has been identified as Walter Fuller Jr. The incident happened on Walker Road off Highway 2 on Friday. Well, Sheriff Gates says the boy's mother was taking a nap, and when she woke up, the child and 2 others were missing. The toddler was found in the yard with his clothes ripped off his body and numerous injuries. The sheriff said he believed 3 neighborhood dogs belonging to the next-door neighbor, 2 pit bull mixes, and 1 shepherd mix could be responsible.
Well, switching gears back here at home in Monroe, people from all over North Louisiana came out for some fun in the sun on Sunday. It was the 2nd annual Float the Washita. Dozens of people brought their colorful floats, boats, and blow-up rafts. They launched from the Forsyth Boat Dock here in Monroe and floated down the river to Warehouse Restaurant.
Oh man, we had a blast last year. Good times, good friends. You know, it's just fun to see everyone come out and do it, man.
It just takes you back to being a kid. You don't need a lot of resources to do it. You kind of have to get a little creative, and you get to see Monroe and West Monroe from a really beautiful angle of the river. We just want to continue getting on the river, probably try out a couple different routes depending on the water and how the seasons go, selling shirts to raise money for different pet charities. This year working with SOS Pets. They've been awesome.
Organizers also thanked Flying Tiger, Pelican State, and H2Go for helping out. They plan to keep this event going next year.
And around the world this morning, President Trump made his history this weekend. Following his 3rd G20 summit, he met with Kim Jong-un in North Korea. But what will happen next? John Lawrence reports.
President Trump back in the United States Sunday, following a monumental 50-minute meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
Many people I noticed from Korea were literally in tears, crying. This is a big thing. It's a big thing.
It's also a historic thing. No sitting U.S. president had ever set foot in North Korea.
By stepping into North Korea, he cemented North Korea's status as a normalized nuclear power.
President Trump says he and Kim agreed to restart the discussions that fell apart after their summit in February.
Continuing the talks, which had been interrupted for a while, is a very big deal.
Critics pounced, calling this nothing more than a photo op.
It's all show. It's all symbolism. It's not substance.
We want to see a denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, a reduction in these missiles, but it's not as easy as just going and, bringing a hot dish over the fence to the dictator next door.
President Trump says meetings with Pyongyang could start within a few weeks.
The question is whether Trump is willing to put sanctions relief on the table. It's something he said he wouldn't do unless North Korea fully denuclearized. If that's not an unrealistic goal at this point, he's going to need to adjust his own goalpost.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
President Trump also invited Chairman Kim to the White House, but later admitted that a visit would probably not happen in the near future.
Well, crowds gathered outside New York's historic Stonewall Inn on Sunday to celebrate 5 decades of LGBTQ pride, marking the 50th anniversary of the police raid that sparked the modern-day gay rights movement.
Yeah, tens of thousands of people flocked to downtown Manhattan from across the country and around the world for the first World Pride celebration in the United States. McGee Hickey has more.
It's a march, not a parade, because while this 2.5-mile celebration of LGBTQ rights has its fun, flamboyant side, as evidenced by French drag queen Latrine Deneuve.
Happy Pride, everybody. We love you. France love America.
Toujours l'amour!
Toujours l'amour!
Toujours l'amour! There is also a very serious message on World Pride Weekend and the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising that started this all. This drag queen from Venezuela always fears for his safety.
It is still very dangerous, just when you're out and about, like in other places in the country. A drag queen, like alone at night, is still a target.
This young woman says her mother in Passaic just won't accept that she's a lesbian.
I cannot make her to accept who I am because she's doing that old-fashioned, you know, so it just, I cannot do anything about it. I cannot change somebody that they don't want to change.
Other parents of gay children marched alongside one another to show acceptance.
I've loved my daughter from the moment I met her. And her sexuality is just not an issue.
There's so many people before me who wouldn't have had this opportunity, and it really means so much to me that I can have my parents on my side in this.
And even before the march began, a demonstration by ACT UP to draw attention to 17 HIV-positive deaths in ICE detention.
We are fighting for them. We are fighting for everyone living with HIV that died under the state.
And to many marchers, this was a celebration like no other, all about love and acceptance.
I'm of color, I'm gay, and I'm proud every day, but especially today at World Pride, New York City.
Well, trending this morning, Monday is a day to celebrate all things Canadian. That's because Canada Day is similar to America's Independence Day. Canada Day marks the anniversary of the consolidation of 3 territories into the single country of Canada more than 150 years ago in 1867. Much like the 4th of July, it's marked by parades and fireworks, but traditional Canadian foods are also enjoyed, such as poutine and deep-fried bread dough with chili and cinnamon, also known as beaver tails. Canada Day also kicks off Canada History Week.
Okay, but poutine is so good. Like, now I want some.
It sounds good. It sounds good. I also have always wanted to go to Canada. A little over a year ago, I went to Flint, Michigan to go visit my family, and we were in Detroit. And literally, the state line was just right there. And it was like, man, like if I had everything in order, I could just go over there. But
it's very close.
Yeah.
You should definitely check it out sometime.
Have you guys been?
I have. When I was a kid, when I used to live up in New Hampshire.
I've been too. When I left the Army, I drove through Canada to come back to Louisiana.
Awesome.
So I spent some time there.
Very cool. So Tyler, you gotta go now.
I feel inferior to you guys now. I'm the only one on the table who hasn't been to Canada this morning.
To be fair, like I lived very close to the border, so.
All right.
It's time for you to take a road trip.
Yeah, time to save up them coins so I can go.
All right, guys, it's time for the Facebook question of the day. Here's today's question. Drivers who do this are more likely to get in an accident.
Eat.
Play on your phone.
Oh, I like that one. Those are both really good.
Yeah.
I'm
saying eat because eating French fries and dipping it in ketchup while you're driving is not easy. Not that I know, but you know.
I'm gonna say people who get like really angry when they're driving, like road rage.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's gonna be my guess.
All right, let's read a few answers before we get out of here. PJ says drive for a living, so maybe like a truck driver.
Okay, I guess like if you're in the car more, then the odds are not in your favor.
Yeah, and Yvette says put a seatbelt on while driving instead of putting it on before. Let's see, Judith says texting and arguing while driving. But see, that's why it's good to have like the car, like, you know, to already have the voice thing in your car or whatever, so that way you can have both hands on the steering wheel and yell as loud as you want to.
Oh, you probably shouldn't do that.
Timothy says fall asleep behind the wheel. Nolan says apply makeup.
Wait, fall asleep behind the wheel. I feel like that's like...
I feel like that's like 100% you're guaranteed.
Yeah, that's really bad.
They're telling us we have to go, but I have an uncle who was like 100 and how old was he? 103 whenever he passed or whatever. But he always used to tell these stories. And you know how like older people, they always make it like over dramatize a story? He said that he fell asleep and woke up and arrived at his destination. But you know, everybody in the family was like, okay, you're taking it a little too far now. All right, but I do like this one. Nolan says apply makeup.
Ooh, okay.
All right, guys, head over to the Facebook page. Tell us what you think the answer is, and we will read a few of your answers right here on the show. But still,